Gorgeous morning for some football. You are looking at Soldier Field. We are live in Chicago for kickoff to the 2019 season. It'll be the best one yet. The best kickoff party, the best season in 100 years. It's the centennial of the Bears. They are hosting the Packers in NFC North rivalry, an NFL rivalry, the oldest one that exists. This is GMFB, represented by IBEW in Chicago, September 5th. I can't believe we're here, guys.
What's up, Coach? What's up? What's going on? Hey, Chicago natives.
That's right. All right, we got McMahon, the funky QB. We got the Ditka superfan.
No, a sausage.
We've got Walter Payton.
We got Sweetness, and we got McGruff, the crime dog.
No!
Crime.
I'm not Inspector Gadget. I am not McGruff the crime dog.
Inspector Gadget.
I'm not, what's it? Knox from
Alexander Knox.
Alexander Knox.
Yeah.
I am Vince Lombardi, okay? What the hell are we doing out here?
Talk to me about seams. Seams?
Yeah, there's a seam here, go up the alley.
Guys, let's remember where we came from, though. We are here in Chicago because in 1922, George Halas took his football team, the Decatur Staleys, moved them here to play at Wrigley Field, changed the name to the Bears. Not a coincidence because it was the Cubs already, and they wanted to capitalize on the popularity of Major League Baseball in America. Meanwhile, in 1919, Curly Lambeau and George Whitney Calhoun went to their bosses at the Indian Packing Company and got a $500 loan to start the football team known as the Packers. Crazy. That's why we are here tonight. It's incredible.
We're in Grant Park. This is the NFL experience. The gates will open. It will be flooded with Bears and Packers fans. There's an NFL concert after us. Meghan Trainor, Meek Mill, and also for the first time ever, the NFL is having a watch party. See these big screens on this stage all over Grant Park? You can watch the game. So if you're a fan, if you're in the city, it is a party through and through. And we have at Soldier Field up the lakefront our guy Randy Moss. Tell us about what's going on with both teams heading into this one.
Hey, so much history. You guys were talking about this guy, George Stanley Halas. If anyone deserves a statue outside Soldier Field, it's this guy. When Chicago first played Green Bay in 1921, you guys said it, they were called the Staleys. And about that name change, they were playing at Cubs Park, now Wrigley Field. Halas said, well, football players are bigger and meaner than baseball players. We're playing at Cubs Park. What's bigger and meaner than a Cub? Of course, a bear. And thus the Chicago Bears were born. Their colors then and now, blue and orange, the colors of his alma mater, Illinois. And how about this? When Chicago first played Green Bay, they were in the APFA, the American Professional Football Association. Halas said, that sounds too minor league. National League, Cubs, America's pastime. We'll call ourselves the National Football League. So Papa Bear, in a sense, literally was the NFL. And now a century later, he's still larger than life. Guys?
Randy Moss, excellent work by you profiling the gravity of what's about to take place. The fact that the rivalry is over 100 years old, or 100 years old right now, and the fact that we are celebrating so much here in Chicago. All eyes of the football world are on Grant Park and Soldier Field and the good host that is Chicago, guys. But we got to get to this is like
got a great belly going.
How does it feel to have that big old belly?
Can we just like
front porch?
Guys, this
There you go.
Okay, I've been there. It's
What do you mean,
You
been
were
there?
abroad in Australia, Peter.
Hey, what does it mean, been there? He's still there.
All right, it's Thursday. It's the last hour of the show. Really quick, anybody want to talk to Matt Forte? He's joining the show in a
22?
bit. But for now, Throwdown Thursday. Or Throwdown Thursday. Thursday. First up, it's kickoff. 2019 regular season. Packers coming into town. Lots of great players on both sides. Two bona fide superstars, though, in Aaron Rodgers and Khalil Mack, number 52. So I ask you, who reigns supreme tonight? You guys have been talking about this in circles all week long. Who gets the best of who, Aaron or Khalil?
Strangely enough, I'm going to go with Aaron because I think the Packers are ready for Khalil. I think they've prepared for Khalil. Not only is Bakhtiari one of the best tackles in the game, if LaFleur is worth his spurs as the Packers head coach, he's going to roll Rodgers away, the double, triple team. Watch for Leonard Floyd on the Bears tonight, number 94, on the other side to actually play a really big role. Him, Roquan, because you can't let Khalil Mack just come in and wreck the whole game for you. I think Leonard Floyd may be the secret weapon tonight for the Bears.
You know, we talked about this a little bit earlier in the show, people think if you hit Aaron Rodgers, you're going to hit this offense and stop this offense. That's not the case. As much as I can appreciate Leonard Floyd and Khalil Mack, I can look back at a game last year where Aaron Rodgers was hit 12 times by the Jets, sacked 4 times. In that game, he threw for 474 yards. So for that reason, I'm going with Aaron Rodgers. And by extension, I'm going to say Devontae Adams. We forget about one of the best unsung heroes, not just on this team, but in the game. Over the last 3 years, 35 TDs. Those numbers, mind-blowing. Only Antonio Brown has more. So I got Aaron Rodgers. When he does feel pressure, he's going to let that thing go, and it's going to be Devontae on the other end.
We're probably going to see Devontae versus Kyle Fuller and Eddie Jackson in the
matchup.
secondary. Maybe some Prince Umukamara. Great matchup.
We talk a lot about the defensive changing at coordinator for the Bears, and you know the names, right? You know Vic Fangio went to the Broncos, and you know that Chuck Pagano's coming in. But what does that really mean? Fangio sends everybody. He's one of these guys that said pass rushers.
Yeah.
Chubb and Miller, they're going to be great. And last year, Mack and obviously Leonard Floyd were outstanding. Chuck Pagano's defense is more focused on the defensive backfield. So their defensive backs are going to lock up everybody, giving more time for these pass rushers to get going. So I'm going to go with Khalil Mack. I think he gets a couple tonight. And 2 sacks is a lot. If you average 2 sacks over the course of a season, you're breaking the sack record. So I think he has a day. I think Khalil Mack gets it going, and Chuck Pagano schemes it up.
Last year, Mack had 3.5 sacks, a pick 6, a forced fumble, a fumble recovery against the Packers. Knowing what you know about Aaron Rodgers, though, how is he taking and approaching this game from the perspective of the fact that they're not favored? They're not. There's not as big of an expectation for them on the road tonight.
This is a guy who was drafted 25th in the draft and has gone on to make over $100 million and still holds a grudge against the 24 teams that passed on him. Aaron Rodgers has been watching all offseason. A lot of criticism. Trust me, it's internalized. He's going to come out ready to play.
Next up, we're going to look ahead to Sunday. It's the Giants and the Cowboys. Lots to pay attention to, especially the running backs. These are 2 guys who had over 2,000 scrimmage yards just last year going at it in a division rivalry. Okay, so Zeke Elliott just signed his mega deal after holding out all summer. We know Saquon's the king of New York, so which running back has the bigger impact in their Week 1 matchup? Is it Saquon Barkley or Zeke Elliott, Nate?
I'm going to go with Ezekiel Elliott. And I know that he's been in Cabo chilling, and he hasn't been at camp, and there might be a certain part of the playbook that he's going to have to learn on the fly. But he still has playmakers around him that are going to help kind of alleviate the pressure. Dak Prescott is going to play at a high level. With that arm and those legs, he's a threat. Amari Cooper is a fantastic talent. He's going to take pressure off of Ezekiel Elliott. Jason Witten is back. He's going to take pressure off of Zeke. On the flip side, Saquon, I don't know if the wide receivers are going to step up and allow teams to back up. Because if I'm a defense facing Saquon Barkley this week and every weekend after that, I'm just going to load the box like it's moving day. And I don't think he's going to be able to get loose because the team's going to come in saying, we stop Saquon, we stop the Giants.
Cowboys might win this game. The Cowboys might play the Giants and take care of business. It won't be because Ezekiel Elliott goes nuts. You can't come off the beach or wherever they were, and I know he was training with Marshall Faulk and Rocky Arsenault down in Cowboys. You can't come in and 2 days later tote the rock for 25 carries, have 200 yards, and a touchdown. He might play a role, but I would expect a lot more Tony Pollard. I would expect a lot more Jamil Alawale getting the ball here in big spots.
Great pass blocker.
He's a great pass blocker. I just don't think Week 1 is Zeke's week. I'm going Saquon, and I think Saquon has a night.
And Triggs, Jane Slater is reporting that Zeke's likely to play 20 to 25 snaps. I imagine that's something like 10 to 15 touches, not the full workload we expect.
And Saquon will get the full workload. 8 billion people in the world. There's only one Saquon Barkley. And Van Der Esch and Jalen Smith are going to be all over him. I know, and maybe 1 quarter, 2 quarters, 3 quarters. There is going to be a Andrew Siciliano / Scott Hansen alert on Sunday where it's, and we go to Dallas, where Saquon Barkley has broke a big one. It may only take 1, but Saquon is the truth. Best back in all of football. He'll get off.
That's Throwdown Thursday. What's the Curb Your Enthusiasm music? Can you give it to me?
Bum, 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 bum.
Jeff Garland on the show. Super Bears fan and Bears legend is coming to Grant Park. Lots and lots of guests. Pro Bowl running back Matt Forte joining us. More guests on the way. We've